Gotham. To the Gotham Aftershow on theStream.tv, where we are going to take a respite from America's national nightmare and instead focus on a slightly more exciting nightmare in Gotham City. I'm Tatiana, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Daniel Pickett from Action Figure Insider, and Alexis Ned, who is the Senior Interactive Editor of Hearst Digital Media. So, my first question to you guys is, on a scale of 1 to 10, and you guys in the chat can answer too, what would you rate this episode for Gotham? Daniel?
I give it a good 7. We're early in the season. It's really moving the plot along. It didn't feel like there was a lot of filler. There were some weird sort of choices every so often that we'll talk about later with some stuff that even we, who are paying close attention, were a little murky on. But still felt like, they're really clipping along and we can see where they're headed with this.
All right. Alexis, what are your thoughts?
I was going to put it at like a 7.5 as well. A lot of interesting things happened in the plot, a couple of gut punch emotional moments. It was a really good episode for being only episode 2. This feels like a mid-season episode.
Yeah. I agree. I think a lot happened. It moved at a really fast pace. And while there's definitely some stuff I didn't love, I think I didn't love them enough that I would put it at a 6 instead. But there were some really strong moments. Okay. So I'm happy. Oh, I'm seeing lots of really great scores here. 7.5. Someone gave it an 8.6. Wow. All right, you really like that episode. That's awesome. By the way, you can talk to us in the chat, or you can also hashtag Gotham Aftershow on Twitter if you want to send us questions, which we'll answer later in the show. So first things first, we need to talk about what's on our minds at least, which is Poison Ivy. What do we think, Alexis?
I was really excited to see new Ivy when she first washed up on that dismal shore, which we don't know where she washed up. Like, was it Metropolis? Is that right across the water from Gotham? And I was super excited to see her. And then I got a little less excited, not because of her, but because that dude came up and invited her to his house. And I'm like, oh no, is this gonna be creepy and terrible already? Oh God. But then they kind of flipped that script. So it went like, whoo, yeah, Ivy. Oh God, where is this going? And then another like, whoo, yeah, Ivy at the end. Although I do have questions about how a mental 14-year-old knew how to like get a bodycon dress on and put on that kind of makeup.
Yeah.
But that's just the technicalities.
Right. I guess that's my big issue with it is just, I don't know if you guys saw the interview with the showrunner when he was talking about their reason for aging Ivy up, and they said, oh, well, she's known for being a seductress, so we wanted to age her up. And I was like, okay, but Ivy is also known for talking to plants and having plants, you could have had a young girl developing those skills first before just going straight into
But by that argument, isn't Selena also known as a seductress?
Yeah, Selena's known as a seductress,
that's kind of a weird...
That's why
I mean, unless they've got something very specific. And I agree. I think we all sort of shared that moment where we thought this, especially the beginning of the Ivy storyline, was going to fall into that typical TV trope of the creeper dude is luring her back to the house. And I think we were all relieved that that wasn't the case.
Thank
There's
God,
a nice guy in Gotham that was really just trying to help this weird, soaking wet girl whose outfit appears to be made of the same stuff the Hulk wears, because she's wearing the same outfit as she was as like a 12-year-old, and now she's like a 22-year-old and still fits like a charm. So, and then we got to see the very first murder with a plant by Poison Ivy, although it was just a flower pot, but I still say that counts.
it's a good start.
She's developing her MO slowly.
Yeah.
But that also made it even more sort of nefarious and evil, or maybe she's just trying to figure out, her new surroundings and new body. The fact that he did not come on to her, but she murdered him for throwing a plant in the trash. I mean, that's...
I feel like they needed to develop a little bit more her feelings about plants. Because it's been a while since I saw her connecting with them or anything as her normal self.
Yeah.
So I know Yarhar here in the chat just said, unless her mind matured as well, which yes is very possible, but it's still kind of skeevy because it's just something they made happen in order to justify her aging up.
Right.
But they didn't have anything to justify her sudden super sensitive connection to plants. Like, does Marv I don't know, did she fall into plants and thus now she has feelings for plants? I don't know.
She was caressing the leaf.
Yes.
From that we take it she loves all plants.
But we will find out, I guess, sooner or later. I agree with you, Alexis, though, that the actress is good.
Yes, I love Maggie Geha. I'm not sure. She's awesome. I can't wait to see what she does with the role.
Yeah. So I hope that she can, if there's material that's questionable, I hope that she's able to continue to elevate it.
Well, even
Totally.
that sort of long, lingering appearance when she comes down the stairs and they sort of pan from the legs up. I mean, it was like, she was 12 like last Monday, guys.
Yeah, right. Even if her mind matured, we just saw her as a child. So
yeah, that seemed a little jarring.
it's like, I don't want that kind of temptation in my life.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Another temptress type character is Fish Mooney, and she did a lot of using her manipulation powers this week, especially on Harvey. So what did we think about her search for Hugo Strange and Gordon and the GCPD's search for her?
I loved seeing her kiss Harvey again. I've always been a Bullfish shipper ever since season 1 when he gave her his jacket. Even though this was a slightly more manipulative situation because she used her power on him.
Yeah.
I just love seeing those two on screen together anytime.
They have great chemistry.
They do.
In fact, she has
Such
chemistry
great
with everyone.
chemistry.
Like her scene with Gordon this episode, I was like, oh, I could see that too. But
I mean, she could have chemistry with a pile of rocks on the beach.
That's
just
true.
Jada Pinkett Smith for you,
That's
though.
true. What I did really love was the confrontation with Penguin. I thought that there's a really interesting and weird parental kind of theme throughout the episode.
Right.
Like you've got Bruce and Alfred's like a great dad to Bruce.
Yeah.
And then you've got Hugo seeing Fish as his daughter, or his creation, really.
Right, yep.
And then Fish seeing Penguin as her creation. So it's like all these different kinds of parents.
and Penguin especially, you know, from what he went through last season, losing mom and dad, it was sort of nice to, you know, that really was a great motivation to flip his anger that has been burning so brightly just in these 2 episodes. You know, that's sort of the one thing that would shock him out of it and actually let her go. So I thought that was well crafted and well done.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and Penguin as a character, I mean, he's very high and mighty these days, but he's always sought other people's approval. In the first season, he was dying to impress Fish and then dying to impress Jim Gordon, and then he wanted to impress his dad. And to have someone just stand in front and say, I'm proud of you for what you've accomplished, he's never heard that.
Yeah. She really knew just how to work him, and I also think that she was sincere in it too, which was the best part, because it worked on lots of levels. And
But it will be interesting to see if they return to what they set up last episode, the whole penguins eat fish thing. That
Yes.
felt like that is something that was setting something further up. So we'll see if
Right.
they actually do bring that back around.
I have a
Well, aren't we also getting Falcone's son this season? Wasn't there a casting notice about another Falcone popping up?
I think that is accurate,
yeah.
So I hope that maybe Fish and Penguin can team up against that, because at least there's a common enemy.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true. I would rather see them team up than be at odds, because it does break my heart a little bit. I did love their dynamic in season 1. So
And we got to see, you know, a few more Fish's monsters. We got to see that Draco Malfoy looking,
Right.
which I
we got
consider
to
the
see
first-
Flash Draco Malfoy.
the
and
first
Storm.
speedster in the Gotham universe.
the first speedster.
Then we had the lady from American Horror Story season 1 in the rubber suit, and then we had I think Storm from the X-Men made an appearance, right?
Yeah, Storm from
Walking around shocking people.
Yarhar seems to be in the know. He just said, I don't know what you are, I'm sorry. Mario Falcone is Lee's new BF. Is that true? Because that would be super interesting.
The Gordon-looking guy.
Yeah, I thought he looked a little like Gordon. I thought he was a Gordon clone, but if he's actually a Falcone, I'd be here for that, basically.
That would add some layers.
Yeah.
Definitely add some layers.
Speaking of Lee, we have Jim Gordon, Gotham's most eligible bachelor, apparently. So what do we think about his different dynamics with all the ladies on the show? We've got Barbara still kind of maybe into him and maybe just playing with him.
Maybe into him.
Well, I mean, it could just be, her messing with him because she likes messing with people. I think there's some
I think
sincerity
that's
there.
how she likes people.
Yeah.
I think we've established messing with people
Yeah.
is her form of affection at this point.
And then we've got the lovely Valerie Vale, who's working with him and also experiencing some sexual tension. And
He sort of took that on himself, though. I mean, she didn't slap him or anything.
Right, but she wasn't
made
inviting it
He
as
made
much.
that first move, which
yeah.
again, last week when we watched and we saw Lee kissing that guy, we were like, 6 months, that's kind of soon. And now we see, apparently Jim's on that same timeline, just like cranking him through. 6 months, that's your cutoff.
So, Alexis, do you ship Jim with anyone? And what did you think of their dynamics?
I mean, I feel like I'm very Jim and Lee. They spent so much time developing their relationship. They spent so much time on her pregnancy that I feel like their end game, which I can kind of get into, which does mean there's going to be tons of drama later on in this season. I love Barbara as a character. I think that she's just a psychotic playground scary person.
Yeah.
She'll mess with anybody. She'll seduce anybody to get what she wants. But yeah, I'm firmly Jim and Lee.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely think that's where the show's gonna go back to, because I don't think you can go back to Jim and Barbara.
No.
Because they've taken her way too far.
Unless they're somehow eventually going to get to Batgirl.
Right, but that's why I was sad about how they treated her in season 1, because I love Barbara Gordon Jr.
Yeah,
Right.
I was hoping for there's no way he's naming his daughter Barbara after all this.
Unless Barbara, in the end, sacrifices herself for him or something. She redeems herself and then dies.
Elvis Severus Potter, you were named after the bravest crazy woman I ever knew.
Yeah.
Exactly. We could definitely pull a Snape with that. But otherwise, I don't think they're going to get back together. But I really love Valerie so far. I love that we got to see her doing her job. We got to see her working with Jim and also double-crossing him. And, seeing all the different aspects of what it would take to get that story.
Yeah, but that's something sometimes TV writers aren't always great at, is seeing people doing their job well.
Right.
We've seen that a little bit with Gordon and the bounty hunting, but now I think establishing Valerie really as a reporter, someone that can connect the dots and figure out where this is going. She's been duped a couple of times, but she's still grabbing all the threads and tying them together in a way that you go, oh, she could actually be a reporter.
Yeah. I thought Jim's interest in her at the end there was kind of super fast and maybe unnecessary. He was just trying to throw her off the scent or something.
Right.
But they have chemistry, so that's good. But I agree with Cody Haven. Jim has too many lovers. He doesn't need that many.
Spread them around. Give Harvey something. Come on.
Right.
Throw him a bone.
I hope that Valerie sticks around regardless of what goes on with her and Jim, because I really do like this new side of justice in Gotham. All right, other things happen in this episode.
Yes.
We have Bruce, baby Bruce, and the Court of Owls, which I'm not well versed in, but
Yeah, the Court of
Daniel?
Owls thing tonight's. I am surprised that they sort of came out of the shadows a bit this soon in the season. It seemed like a very strange choice to be, we're so mysterious, I'm always going to appear with the mask. And then the instant Gordon shows up, she's in the mask and she goes, oh, hi, I'm Catherine. And just said, just like, well, that was a reveal, I guess.
and who's Catherine?
Yeah. And their whole, we're controlling your company from the inside. Or we're gonna, give us this, or we're gonna kill you. That seemed a little strange and not very well fleshed out to us.
Right.
They were also way too down to make important life or death deals with a 14-year-old.
Right.
They were like, yes, this is somebody I can talk to.
Yeah.
You'd think that they would make it with his guardian at least.
Yeah, it's like that's a 9th grader, you guys. You could probably bully him a little bit more if you want to.
Yeah.
And if we think for a second that Bruce is not going to continue looking into them, then you've never read a Batman comic.
Right.
Because he's a detective. And I think it's in the Bible, detectives gotta detect. So I don't think he's gonna sit on his hands too much longer, unless he really gets into the dance lessons. I mean, we could see a complete shift away from what we know as the Batman character, and he's more of like a flamenco dancer or something.
That's very true. You never know. Anything's possible in Gotham.
That's true. Well, he does have Alfred to look into things instead, because Alfred didn't sign a parental permission slip or anything.
That's right. He did not promise.
And he has now Emo Bruce, as Alma called him.
Yes.
So, speaking of Bruce and his clone, I had someone who very helpfully in the comments last week pointed out the possibility of him being Lincoln March, Owlman.
Right.
And some say I'm emo. Oh, like Emo Bruce. Some say I'm emo. Okay. That he's Thomas Wayne Jr., who says he's Bruce's brother and was sent by the Court of Owls.
Okay.
Do you know this character?
Yeah. I mean, my big question about the what we think is the clone, maybe, is why didn't he just knock on the door? Why is your first order of business to bust out a window and scare people and then say, is this Bruce Wayne's house? Like, can you not just ring the doorbell, kid? And then
He was raised by Hugo Strange,
I guess, yeah.
so, you know.
That's true.
He's more used to busting up the joint
He doesn't have
than
manners.
just having manners. And somehow getting to the Wayne Manor from Gotham too is a bit of a.
How did he get there? Like, Wayne Manor is very clearly far from the city, and last episode he was in an alleyway with Selena. Did he hitchhike?
Would you pick up a
Did
hitchhiking
he walk?
long-haired 9-year-old or
I mean, I
ninth grader?
guess maybe someone literally thought it was Bruce Wayne who needed a haircut. And they're like, oh,
Right.
Bruce is lost. Gotta take him home and let him break.
Wayne Manor, that's just up the way there, yeah. Hop in, kid.
And they're like, I lost my key. I gotta break in. Okay, have fun.
That should be fine. He's breaking into his own house. What could possibly go wrong there?
I don't know. Okay, so final thing is the promo for next week. What did you guys in the comments think of Mad Hatter?
Sweet Mad Hatter.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for Mad Hatter. He was one of my favorite missions in Arkham Knight, and I think in Arkham City as well, but he was definitely DLC for Arkham Knight, and he was hands down one of the best villains they had in that game. He's a fascinating character. I wish he had a British accent on the show, but he doesn't.
Yeah. I don't know why they wouldn't give it to him.
What's
or
that?
let him use it, I mean.
Yeah, that does seem a little strange because we have seen that, like in Batman the Animated Series, he did. You know, this is a character that he was one of the actual Batman villains that appeared in the '66 Batman show as well. So, it's a character dating back a long time. So it's fun to see him appear in the Gotham universe.
Right.
Yeah, and have him be, well, not modernized, considering he still dresses like a Victorian dandy, apparently.
But that's just Gotham. That's very Gotham of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when it comes to Gotham, their theory is take all the villains and then make them hot and then see what happens.
That's
so
the
I don't
important
know
thing.
what else I expected, to be
Yeah, as
honest.
long as they're hot, though, they belong. They're welcome.
But yeah, it definitely feels like that is a great Batman villain to sort of bring into the fold now. I know we talked a little bit about it. Seemed like, especially season 1, they were just jam packing people in. But it seems like that's that is one that doesn't typically he's usually down on the list.
Yeah.
You don't always see him in Batman media, so to see him sort of
I
swept
didn't
up
know
in Gotham.
I didn't know that he was a Batman person, so I suck.
No.
So we have some fan questions from the Gotham Aftershow hashtag, which you guys can use throughout the week to ask us anything you want, and we will answer in some form or another. So we've got Jordan Valdez, Batfan Jordan V. Hey. I like the Court of Owls masks as much as the comic version, but I'm not a fan of Talen's mask. So what did you guys think of the designs of both the Court of Owls and specifically the Talon mask?
That's
I definitely saw where they were coming from because it was all very Venetian. Like the Court of Owls had those like top half masks, they were bejeweled and they were kind of cool looking. But then Talon's mask was more like those plague doctors. with like the longer nose and the,
Right.
and the matte black. So I kind of saw what they were going for thematically. I'll stand forever for the Gotham costume department. I don't understand how they don't have at least 2 Emmys by now, because it's spectacular costume direction and spectacular costume design. So I got where they were going in theme. Does it totally mesh with the rest of the Gotham aesthetic? Maybe not.
Yeah, the Talon mask seems a little, to me it seemed sort of like Selena Kyle in the Nolan movies. You know, the comic book, the character, you don't see a millimeter of skin. He's completely wrapped up, he's got like a bandolier, and that's partially because there's more than one. You know, when one gets killed, they activate another one or a bunch of them and send them out. So, you know, I get what they're doing in this. You know, TV is sort of a different medium than comic books. I don't think that's a huge revelation or anything. But the fact that they have that character in there, you know, I don't feel like you could have the Court of Owls without him. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Another question from Alma Diaz, Alma D48 on Twitter. And I saw you in the chat too, so you're awesome. What do you guys think Bruce's double is up to now that he has shown himself to Bruce? Now, this is a good question, because he seems just kind of like an innocent right now. But do we think that there is a second agenda?
You know, being created by Hugo Strange, like none of the other monsters have been nice or good. So is he like the one sort of aberration variant?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't
Well, I
know.
mean, he also has the shittiest power. Like, Fish Mooney gets to tell people what to do. Storm gets to be Storm. Someone gets to be fast. You get to be Bruce Wayne. Like, that's like the worst superpower ever.
And not just Bruce Wayne, Shaggy Bruce Wayne.
Shaggy Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Yeah, I think that he has to be sent by someone, or someone has an agenda to use him, either to distract Bruce or to whatever. But he himself, I think, is pure of spirit.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like he's been, you know, when we saw the double for Gordon, he had very much been programmed. He was going to infiltrate. He was going to, you know, sort of disrupt the GCPD. But this clone, double, whatever he is, he just learned last episode who he was supposed to look like even. So it doesn't feel like, you know, he's sort of had that programming sort of pounded into him by
I think
Hugo
someone
Strange
could
to do
take
something
advantage
evil.
of him later, maybe. You know? Something like that.
Yeah. And also, I wonder why he isn't with Fish Mooney, because he was in that parade of weirdos that came out of the bus in the season 2 finale.
Yeah.
True.
And I feel like, did everyone else make a right and he made a left? Why doesn't Fish have him on her side? Or maybe she does. Maybe he is one of the monsters and he's playing a long game.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know, does Fish, she knows Bruce, who Bruce Wayne is.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, if she had seen him, then I think that she would definitely have kept him with her. All right. Well,
Yeah.
you guys should definitely tweet us what you think at hashtag Gotham Aftershow. You can tell us in the chat too, and we'll check it out. And you can stick around. In about 10 minutes, we'll have Welcome to the Batcave.
Yes.
So if you have questions for us about anything Batman, either the comics or the movies or games or anything like that, let us know. Hashtag Welcome to Batcave, and come back here, theStream.tv, which you can subscribe to, and we will see you soon. Good night, Gotham.